The silver ship cut through the clouds of Lorexus 4 like a blade through silk. Below, the alien world shimmered in shades of blue and gold. The surface was alive. Forests of glowing trees, rivers that reflected the twin suns, and distant crystal mountains that hummed faintly in the wind. Captain Rhett Hayes stood at the viewport, his jaw tight, his uniform perfectly pressed. Today was not just another mission, it was history. Humans were finally meeting the Lorexians face to face, a race that had once called humans warm-blooded intruders. As the landing gear touched the glass-like surface, the crew grew silent. No one spoke, no one moved. Even the hum of the engines seemed nervous. Rhett turned to his team, 10 soldiers and 3 diplomats. Their eyes were filled with curiosity and fear. "Remember," Rhett said quietly, "we're here as guests, not conquerors. No weapons unless I say so." The metallic ramp lowered, releasing a soft hiss of pressure. The air of Lorexus 4 flowed in, cool, light, and filled with a faint scent of something sweet, like flowers from another world. Rhett stepped down first, boots echoing on the polished surface. In front of him stood a group of alien figures, tall, elegant, and glowing softly beneath long silver robes. Their eyes were large and luminous, their hair like threads of moonlight. The leader among them, a tall female alien with pale blue skin and glowing marks running along her neck, raised her hand in greeting. Rhett copied her gesture politely, but before he could say a word, the alien suddenly did something unexpected. Each female alien reached to the edges of her robe and pulled it slightly aside, revealing the glowing patterns beneath, swirling lights and moving symbols that flowed across their skin like liquid stars. The humans froze. Lieutenant Marcos whispered under his breath, Captain, what the hell are they doing?" Rhett's heart skipped. Was this an insult, a provocation, or something worse? The translator on his wrist flickered, trying to interpret the strange alien language, but instead of translating words, it made a confused sound. Exposure ritual. Incomplete data. Warning, cultural risk. Rhett's mind raced. He had read every report about Lorexian behavior, but none of them mentioned anything like this. The female alien stood gracefully, eyes glowing with kindness, not mockery. Still, his men looked uncomfortable, some even embarrassed. One of the younger soldiers muttered, "Sir, this doesn't look like diplomacy. This looks like—" "Quiet," Rhett said sharply. No sudden moves. The alien leader stepped closer, her voice soft and melodic. "Reed Hayes, welcome. Light speaker," she said slowly, her words broken but beautiful. Rhett bowed slightly. "I am honored, but I don't understand your greeting." The translator buzzed again, spitting out strange phrases. "We reveal our inner truth to the stranger. No lies in light." Rhett blinked. Reveal their truth? He didn't know what that meant, but something about their calm expressions told him this wasn't aggression. It was trust. Still, the tension hung in the air like a blade. The human stood stiff, unsure whether to smile or turn away. Then one alien, smaller than the rest, stepped forward. Her robe shimmered like liquid silver, and her light patterns flickered nervously. She looked barely 20 in human years. Her name, as Rhett later learned, was Sarai. Sarai tilted her head, studying Rhett with wide, curious eyes. Then she spoke softly. "You, not Shine? Are you ill?" Rhett frowned. "Shine?" She stepped closer until she stood only a meter away. The soldiers raised their rifles instinctively, but Rhett lifted his hand to stop them. Sarai extended her fingers and touched his wrist gently. Her skin was cool, smooth like glass. For a moment, her glowing pattern pulsed brighter, and a faint spark passed from her to him. The translator beeped violently, lights flashing red and green. Suddenly it spoke. "Contact detected. Energy exchange successful. Status, greeting complete." Everyone stared in shock. Rhett looked at his hand. It glowed faintly with the same soft blue light as Sarai's. The alien leader smiled and said something that finally made sense through the translator. "Now you carry our light. You are welcome among us." A deep silence followed. Then Rhett exhaled slowly, realizing the truth. This strange act, this reveal, was not a mockery. It was an ancient custom, a gesture of peace. But before he could explain it to his men, another problem arose. The sky above them darkened. A group of alien guards, males this time, appeared on the horizon armed with long, glowing spears. Their expressions were not friendly. Marcos tightened his grip on his weapon. "Captain, we might have a problem." Rhett glanced at Sarai, who seemed frightened now. "You shouldn't have touched him," one of the guards barked in their own language. The translator barely caught the words. She broke the boundary. "A human cannot bear our light." Rhett stepped forward, raising his voice. "Wait, she did nothing wrong. It was my fault." The aliens looked confused by his sudden defense. Sarai's eyes widened. The first human had ever spoken for her. The tension returned heavier than before. The glowing sky pulsed with strange energy, as if the planet itself was listening. Rhett knew one wrong word, one wrong move, could turn this first meeting into a war. And as the twin suns dipped behind the mountains, their golden light spilling across the alien plain, Captain Rhett Hayes made a silent vow. He would uncover the truth behind this bizarre custom, no matter what it cost, because peace and or destruction would depend on what humans learned next. The air on Lorexus 4 had changed. What had begun as a peaceful greeting now felt like a standoff. The alien guards formed a semicircle around the humans, their glowing spears humming faintly. The human soldiers, tense and unsure, raised their rifles in defense. For a long moment, no one moved. Captain Rhett Hayes stood still between the two groups, sweat running down his neck, hand still glowing faintly from Sarai's touch. The strange light pulsed weakly like a heartbeat. He raised his arm slowly, showing it to the guards. "See this? She didn't harm me. It's just light. Nothing more." But the translator crackled again, turning his words into static-filled nonsense. "Hurt. More. Danger." The device repeated in the alien tongue. The guards' faces hardened. Sarai stepped forward quickly, waving her hands. "No, he means safe," she tried to say, but the translator on Rhett's arm twisted her words too. "No, he means pain." The misunderstanding spread like fire. One alien soldier took a step forward, his spear glowing brighter. The human soldiers shouted, "Captain, fall back," and pointed their rifles toward the aliens. "Hold your fire," Rhett shouted. His voice echoed across the plain. "No one shoots!" Not a single shot. Sarai turned to the guards, her glowing marks flickering faster. The aliens signed for fear. She spoke in rapid tones, trying to calm them, but the translator lagged several seconds behind. Each wrong translation made things worse. Finally, Rhett pulled the device off his wrist and threw it to the ground. It sparked once and went silent. "This thing's doing more harm than good," he muttered. He looked at Sarai, forcing himself to stay calm. "Can you understand me?" Sarai frowned, thinking hard. Then she nodded slowly. Small words. "Slow," she said in halting English. Relief washed over Rhett. "Good. Then talk. Tell them. No fight. We come in peace." She turned and spoke to the guards in her language. The lights on her skin changed rhythm. Slow, calm waves now instead of sharp flashes. The guards hesitated. Their glowing spears dimmed slightly. The leader of the guards, a tall male with a heavy golden crest, looked between Sarai and Rhett with cold eyes. Then he spoke firmly. The translator, still half broken but partly active, picked up the words. "She broke the law. Touching an outsider is forbidden. Humans must be tested before sharing light." "Tested?" Rhett said, confused. "What kind of test?" Sarai's shoulders lowered. "To prove heart? No lies in light," she said softly. "If your light turns dark, they think you dangerous." Rhett took a slow breath. "So that's what this is about. You think I'll turn dark?" Sarai looked away, her glowing eyes full of guilt. "I touched you too early." Before the council said yes. The guard leader gestured toward the horizon where crystal towers shone in the distance. "The Council of Lumens will decide," the translator echoed. "Until then, humans stay under guard." Rhett didn't resist. He signaled his team to lower their weapons. "All right," he said quietly. "We'll cooperate." But nobody hurts her. She tried to help. The guard leader gave no answer. He only turned and began walking toward the shining towers. The humans followed, surrounded by silent alien soldiers. The alien city loomed ahead, a place of light and silence, its towers made of crystal and energy veins that pulsed like living circuits. As they entered, Rhett noticed something strange. Everywhere he looked, the Lorexians moved gracefully, their glowing bodies shifting colors with emotion. But when they saw the humans, the lights dimmed as if the aliens were hiding their feelings. "This planet," Marcos muttered, "feels like it's watching us." Rhett didn't reply. His eyes were on Sarai, who walked beside him with her head lowered. He knew she was afraid, not for herself but for him. The glowing mark on his wrist was fading, but faint traces still flickered beneath his skin. When they reached the Hall of Lumens, the humans were made to stand in a circle of white light. Above them, thousands of glowing threads floated in the air. Energy, history, memory. The council members appeared as tall figures of radiance, faces hidden behind veils of shifting light. Now them spoke in a deep, echoing voice. "Human, you have taken our light. Now we must see your truth." The translator repeated the phrase, though broken. "Show truth, or face exile." Sarai stepped forward, her voice trembling. "He is honest. His light is clean. Please, do not judge yet." The council ignored her. "We will test," said the voice. "Bring the reflector." 2 guards brought forward a circular device and a glowing mirror of crystal. They placed it before Rhett. "Look into it," said the voice. "If your light matches ours, peace will come. If it turns red, you are not pure." Rhett looked at the mirror. He could see his reflection. Tired eyes, dirt on his face, but behind him, the glow from the alien light mark shimmered faintly. Slowly, he placed his hand on the crystal surface. A flash of energy surged through him, and suddenly the mirror flared bright. Blue light spread from his hand, but then for a brief second a streak of red appeared in the center. The aliens gasped. The council's lights flickered. Sarai stepped forward, alarmed. "Wait, he's not angry. That's not hate." But it was too late. The mirror pulsed red again, stronger this time. The guards tightened their grips on their spears. Rhett could feel it too. Not anger, but memory. The image of a burning battlefield on Mars. The screams of his fallen soldiers. The guilt he had carried ever since. His emotions were reacting to the test. "I can explain," Rhett shouted. "That's not hate, it's pain." But the council didn't listen. "Darkness inside," said the leader. "He carries war in his heart." Sarai's voice broke through the noise. "No, he carries loss. Not hate." She looked at Rhett, eyes full of tears and glowing gold. "They don't understand." The council's lights dimmed to silence. Rhett stood in the center, breathing hard, surrounded by beings who could see the emotions he wished he could hide. The test had failed, or perhaps had only just begun. The next morning on Lyrexis IV was quiet, too quiet. A soft mist covered the alien city, and the crystal towers glowed faintly in the twin sunrise. The humans were kept inside a bright chamber made of transparent walls, guarded by 2 silent alien sentinels. Every few seconds, pulses of light ran through the walls, a reminder that the room was both a prison and a test. Captain Red Hayes hadn't slept. The strange red glow from the night before still haunted him. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the mirror and the look of disappointment on the alien council's faces. To them, his human emotions were dangerous. To him, they were what made him real. He looked down at his wrist. The faint trace of Sarai's glowing touch still shimmered weakly under his skin. It pulsed slowly, like a fading heartbeat. Lieutenant Marcos paced the floor. "Sir, we can't stay locked up forever. These glowing people might call this a test, but it feels like a cage." Rhett nodded, but his thoughts were elsewhere. "They don't understand us, Marcos. They think emotions are poison. We need to make them see otherwise." Before Marcos could answer, the door glowed open with a quiet hum. Sarai stepped inside. She was dressed differently now, her silver robe replaced by a softer one woven with thin strands of light. The guards didn't follow her in. She carried a small crystal sphere that pulsed gently in her hands. Rhett stood up. "Sarai," she smiled faintly. "You are not safe here, Captain." "The council. They fear your color." "My color?" Rhett frowned. She pointed to his chest. "The red. It means war, danger. In our world, light must never burn. It must flow," he sighed. "Humans burn easily. We feel pain, anger, sorrow, but that doesn't make us evil." Sarai nodded slowly, sitting down on the glowing floor. "That is what I want to show them. But first, you must learn our way. You must learn to speak in light." Rhett blinked. "Speak in light?" She raised the crystal sphere. It floated into the air and projected colors across the room. Blue, green, gold, red, violet. Each hue shifted like a heartbeat. "This is how we talk without words," she said softly. "Each color, each rhythm, and it means something. It is truth. You cannot lie with light." She pressed her palm to her chest and her skin glowed bright blue. Blue means calm. Then her glow turned soft green. Green means honesty. Finally, her light flickered gold. Gold means connection. Rhett watched closely. The air around her felt alive, peaceful, almost human in warmth. And red? He asked, her glow dimmed. Red means chaos. It's the color of pain and rage. The color we were taught to fear. He nodded slowly. Then I've been red for a long time. Sarai's eyes softened. Then let me help you change it. For hours, she taught him the rhythms of light. It wasn't just about glowing him, it was about feeling. The more Rhett calmed his heartbeat, the softer the light on his wrist became. When he focused on his memories of peace, his mother's voice, the laughter of his crew, the quiet beauty of Earth's sunrise, his glow shifted from red to pale blue. Sarai smiled. You see? Your light listens to your heart, Rhett smiled faintly. If only Earth politics worked that way. They both laughed quietly. The first real laugh since his arrival. For a moment, the tension between species melted away. But then the crystal sphere suddenly pulsed red. A distorted voice echoed from its core. The voice of the council. Sarai of the third light and report, she froze. I am teaching him, she said carefully. Without permission? The council's tone was sharp. You break the sacred limit again. Rhett stepped forward. Wait, don't punish her. She's trying to stop another war. The voice ignored him. Your light will dim, Sarai, if you defy the law again. The sphere went dark. The air grew heavy. Sarai turned away, her glow flickering weakly. They do not understand you, Captain. Long ago they tried to share light with another race. It ended in death. Rhett's brow furrowed. Another race? She nodded. Humans were not the first outsiders. Centuries ago, the Lorexians met beings from a world of fire. The Zethar. They too shared the greeting. But when the Zythar touched our light, it turned black. They attacked us. Since then, we trust no outsider who glows red. Red understood now. The Lorexians didn't just fear him. They feared history repeating. And you think I can change that? Sarai looked at him, her eyes glowing faintly gold. Yes, if you learn our true custom, if you show them your light can heal instead of hurt, they will believe again. He nodded slowly. Then teach me everything. She extended her hand. Close your eyes. Let your light listen. He obeyed. Sarai placed her palm over his chest. A warm current ran through him. Not painful, just deep like a heartbeat shared between two worlds. The room filled with gentle waves of blue and gold. His thoughts slowed, his fear faded, and his light grew steady. Sarai smiled softly. You are learning fast, Captain. Maybe your kind and mine are not so different after all. Rhett opened his eyes. Maybe not. Maybe this is the beginning of something bigger. Before she could answer, the door burst open. The guards rushed in, their spears glowing bright. Step away from the human, one shouted. Sarai stood quickly, shielding Rhett with her body. He means no harm. But the guard's expression was cold. The council has ordered his removal. The test is over. Rhett clenched his fists. Removal? The guard nodded. You will be sent back to your ship. Your light is dangerous. Sarai turned to Rhett, panic in her eyes. If they send you away now, the peace will die with you. Rhett met her gaze, calm but firm. Then we won't let that happen. Sarai's glow turned golden once more, the color of trust, as the guards surrounded them. The humans were about to be taken away, but something new had awakened between them. A shared light, a bridge between two worlds that could no longer be unseen. The lesson was learned, but the test of truth was only beginning. Night had fallen on Lorexus 4, and the twin moons painted the alien city in shades of silver and violet. The air shimmered with soft hums from the crystal towers, like a living orchestra whispering secrets into the dark. The humans had been confined to their ship at the city's edge, guarded and watched but not trusted. Captain Rhett Hayes stood at the open hatch, staring at the glowing skyline. Every light in the alien city reminded him of Sarai. He could still feel her touch faintly glowing under his skin, a heartbeat that refused to fade. Lieutenant Marcos stepped beside him. Sir, Command wants us to leave before sunrise. They say this mission is over. We failed. Rhett's jaw tightened. If we leave now, there'll never be peace. They'll close their world forever. Marcos sighed. Then what do you suggest? You want to fight an entire planet with good manners? Rhett looked toward the horizon where the moonlight struck a distant crystal spire, the Hall of Lumens. No, I'm going to try something else. Something she showed me. Before Marcos could argue, Rhett turned and disappeared into the alien night. The streets of Lorexus were quiet. Alien citizens glowed faintly as they slept within transparent homes of crystal. Rhett moved carefully, following the soft golden trail that only he could see, the bond left by Sarai's touch. It led him through glowing gardens, across a bridge made of living glass, and finally into the shadow of a waterfall that shimmered with light. There, standing in the mist, was Sarai. Her robe glowed faintly blue, but her eyes were bright gold, the color of courage. "You came," she whispered, voice trembling with emotion. "I had to," Rhett said. "They don't want to listen, but maybe we can make them see." Sarai looked worried. "The shared light ceremony is forbidden between species. If they find us, they will banish me. Maybe worse." Rhett stepped closer. "Then we do it in secret. No politics, no council, just truth." She hesitated, then nodded slowly. "Follow me." Behind the waterfall was a hidden chamber, a hollow cave made of living crystal. The walls pulsed with soft blue veins, and a pool of light shimmered at its center. "This place," Sarai said softly, "is where my ancestors shared their first bond. It is pure energy. If your heart is false, the pool will reject you. If it is true, it will merge with your light." Rhett looked at the glowing water. "And if it rejects me?" Her voice softened. "Then your light will fade forever." He took a deep breath. "Then let's find out." They stepped into the pool together. The water wasn't cold. It felt alive, like electricity flowing gently through their bodies. The chamber brightened as their reflections glowed on the surface. One human, one Lorexian, both bathed in the same light. "Close your eyes," Sarai whispered. "Do not fight the light. Let it see who you are." Rhett obeyed. Memories flooded his mind. Earth's oceans, the laughter of his crew, the faces of the soldiers he couldn't save. Guilt twisted inside him, sharp and raw. The pool responded, the light turned red. Sarai gasped. "Your heart is bleeding. You must let go." "I can't," Rhett said, voice breaking. "Every man who died under my command. I still see them." Sarai reached out and placed her hand on his chest. "Then let me see them too." Her glow flared gold, and suddenly Rhett felt the pain lifting, not disappearing but being shared. The pool began to calm. The red softened into orange, then yellow. His heartbeat slowed. Sarai's voice echoed softly like a song. "Pain is not evil, Captain. It means you still feel. That is what our people forgot." Rhett opened his eyes. "Sarai," she smiled faintly. "Now let our light speak." She pressed her forehead against his, and their glows merged. Waves of color rippled through the cave, blue for calm, gold for trust, and faint silver for unity. The pool brightened until the whole cavern was bathed in living light. The walls echoed with the sound of energy singing in harmony. For the first time, human and Lorexian light became one. But outside the chamber, the harmony didn't go unnoticed. The guards at the city perimeter saw the burst of light rising from beneath the waterfall. They sounded alarms. Sirens of luminous energy cut through the night. Inside, Sarai stepped back, frightened. "They know." Rhett looked toward the entrance. "Then let them see the truth." The first guards entered, their spears glowing white-hot. "Step away from the human," one shouted, but when they looked into the pool, they froze. Rhett stood glowing in perfect balance, his color neither red nor blue, but a rare hue unknown to them. White, the color of harmony. Sarai's voice trembled. "He has done what none of us could. He carries all colors in one." The guards didn't know how to respond. The chamber's light spread beyond the walls, reaching the city above. One by one, alien towers began to flicker, reacting to the pulse from the waterfall. The entire city shimmered as if awakening from a long sleep. Rhett looked at Sarai. "They'll either kill me for this or thank me." She smiled through tears. "Either way, they will finally understand." Outside, the Council of Lumens appeared in the sky, massive holographic figures made of pure light. "Human," their combined voices boomed. "You defy our laws. Yet your glow shows balance. Explain yourself." Rhett stepped forward, his light steady and calm. "You fear red because it reminds you of war. But red is also courage. You fear blue because it hides grief. But blue is peace. You cannot fear what makes you alive." Silence fell over the world. The council lights flickered uncertainly. For the first time, they had no answer. Sarai moved beside him. He carries no weapon, no anger. Only light. What else must he prove? The council's glow dimmed, then flared gold. "We will consider your act. Until dawn, the human stays free. The light faded, leaving them alone again. Rhett turned to Sarai, exhausted but smiling. Did we just change a world? She smiled softly. Maybe not yet, but we changed its heart. The water rippled around them, glowing gently as the alien night embraced them both. Two lights, human and alien, now shared the same rhythm, the same promise. And somewhere above, the stars of Lurexus 4 shimmered brighter, as if the universe itself had begun to listen. Morning came slowly to Lurexus 4. The twin suns rose over the crystal spires, filling the sky with gold and violet light. The entire planet seemed different, quieter, softer, as if the night's strange event had changed something deep in its core. Captain Rhett Hayes stood outside the cave by the waterfall, his uniform soaked, his mind restless. He had shared light with Sarai, something no human had ever done. But now he had to face the consequences. Sarai stood beside him, her glow dim but calm. She looked toward the city in the distance where the Hall of Lumens gleamed like a rising star. "They will summon you soon," she said softly. The council saw everything. Rhett nodded. Let them. They wanted truth. Last night they got it, but even as he spoke he could feel tension in the air. The colors of the city flickered unevenly, as if the light itself was nervous. Moments later, a hovercraft made of crystal descended from the sky, landing gently on the mossy ground. The side opened, revealing 3 tall Lurexians from the Council of Lumens. Their bodies glowed in controlled harmony, blue and white but no gold, no emotion. The leader stepped forward. His name was Elder Varen, a being older than most planets. His voice was steady, deep, and echoed through the forest. "Human, come. You have opened the forbidden light. The council demands your presence." Rhett met Sarai's eyes. "Whatever happens, don't blame yourself." "I won't," she whispered, but her glow trembled with worry. The Hall of Lumens was brighter than ever before. Thousands of threads of energy floated in the air, forming patterns that moved like living art. The council members stood in a wide circle. Rhett was brought to the center, surrounded by alien light. Elder Varen looked down at him. "You have done what no being has done in 1,000 years. You touched the sacred pool. You merged your light with ours." Rhett stood tall. "I didn't come to break your laws. I came to understand them." Varen's glow flickered. "And yet you touched the core. Do you know what that place is?" Rhett shook his head. Sarai said it was a sacred chamber. The elder raised his hand and the air shimmered. A large holographic image appeared, ancient, faded, but clear enough to see. It showed the same pool, the same cave, but the figures within were not human. They were tall, dark beings with glowing red veins. The Zythar. "Long before your people left Earth," Varen began, "we met another race. The Zythar came from the Fire Nebula, promising friendship. They were strong, proud, and curious, like humans. We welcomed them, as we welcomed you." The image changed, showing the Zythar and Lurexians sharing light for the first time. "But when they entered the sacred pool," Varen continued, "their light turned black. It consumed ours." The pool screamed. The hologram flared dark, showing chaos. The Zythar attacked, their bodies glowing with corrupted energy. Whole cities burned under crimson skies. "We lost half our people that day," Varen said quietly, "and we learned one truth. Outsiders cannot carry our light. They twist it." Rhett stared at the image in silence. He understood now. The fear, the strict laws, the constant suspicion. "So when you saw my red light, you thought history was repeating?" "Yes," Varen replied, "but last night something changed. You did not destroy the pool." "You purified it. How?" Rhett took a slow breath. "Because I didn't hide my pain. The Zythar tried to conquer you. I tried to understand you. Maybe that's the difference." The council murmured softly, their lights flickering uncertainly. Sarai, standing at the edge of the chamber, stepped forward. "He carries pain but not hate. He carries loss but not lies. Isn't that what light is supposed to reveal?" Elder Varen's glow dimmed. "Pain is still darkness." Sarai shook her head. "No, Elder, pain is what reminds us that we're alive." The hall fell silent. The threads of light above began to shift, forming new colors, soft gold mixing with blue. Something was happening. The ancient walls of the Hall of Lumens were responding to truth. Rhett looked up as the holographic image of the Zythar changed. For the first time, the projection revealed something new, a final scene hidden for centuries. A dying Zythar warrior had reached toward a Lurexian child not to harm but to protect. The child's light had turned white just like Rhett's had the previous night. Baron stared in disbelief. This record, it was sealed. No one has seen this part of history, Sarai whispered. Perhaps your ancestors misunderstood the ending. Rhett stepped closer to the image. You built your laws on a half-truth. You thought they wanted destruction, but maybe they wanted forgiveness. The elder looked shaken. We have lived in fear for so long. Perhaps we forgot how to see light in others. Rhett smiled faintly. Then it's time to remember. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then slowly, the council members began to change color, from white and blue to gold and green. A ripple of emotion filled the hall. It was not anger this time, but hope. Baron bowed his head slightly. Captain Hayes, your light has shown us what words never could. You have reminded us that understanding begins with honesty. Red exhaled. Then maybe peace isn't a dream after all. Sarai's golden glow brightened. You have changed their hearts. The first step is taken. But just as the air began to calm, the floor beneath them trembled. The lights in the hall flickered wildly. The image of the Zythar began to distort, its colors turning chaotic. Baron's expression darkened. Something is wrong. The hologram cracked, revealing a signal underneath. Ancient, mechanical, alive. A voice, deep and distorted, echoed through the hall. We are not gone. Rhett's blood ran cold. Sarai's glow faded to pale white. The Zythar weren't just a memory. They were still out there, and they had just heard the humans were on Lorexus 4. The Hall of Lumens shuddered as the ancient hologram fractured into darkness. Every thread of light in the air snapped like broken glass. Panic spread among the council as alien runes flashed crimson across the crystal walls, a warning signal that hadn't been seen in centuries. Captain Rhett Hayes shielded his eyes from the flare. What's happening? He shouted. Elder Varen's voice trembled, though he tried to sound calm. The past has awakened. The Zythar, their last transmission has been reactivated. The hologram flickered again. The image of the ancient Zythar warrior twisted into a living projection. Black veins glowing red, eyes burning like molten stars. The voice that followed was cold and heavy, echoing through the hall. Children of light, you sealed our fate. But darkness remembers, Sarai gasped, stepping closer. It's a memory echo, but it feels alive. The image turned its gaze toward Rhett. And now the warm-blooded ones walk your world again. The red light returns. Rhett clenched his fists. You're wrong. I'm not your enemy. The hologram's voice deepened. Then prove it. Finish what your kind began. Share your light. Or burn. And then, the walls split open. A surge of energy pulsed from beneath the Hall of Lumens and the ground cracked. From below, dark smoke rose, not real but energy residue from the ancient war. It filled the chamber, forming ghost-like shapes of the Zythar army. The Lorexian guards raised their spears, light flaring in fear. Rhett shouted, Stop! It's not real. It's their memory trying to feed on your fear. But the council members couldn't control themselves. Their bodies flickered between blue and red, calm and chaos. The energy ghosts grew stronger, feeding on the panic. Rhett looked at Sarai. We need to stabilize the light before it consumes them. She nodded, already glowing gold. There's one way, the true greeting. The oldest ritual. The one never completed, he frowned. The one from your legends? Yes, she whispered. It was meant to unite light and flesh, two souls into one truth. No lies, no fear. But it was lost when the Zythar betrayed us. Rhett stepped closer. Then we finish it. Sarai's eyes widened. If your light isn't strong enough, it will kill you. He smiled faintly. Then I'd better mean every word. They stood together at the center of the chaos. The air was alive with light and shadow, the cries of old wars echoing around them. The Lurexians fell to their knees as the council's energy wavered. Rhett extended his hand. Tell me what to do. Sarai took his hand gently. Don't think, feel, open your heart. Let your truth flow through light. The moment their hands touched, a spark ignited between them. Pure white energy that spread outward in waves. The ghosts screamed, retreating from the brightness. The Lorexians watched in awe as the chamber filled with color. Sarai began the chant, her voice trembling but strong. By light we are seen, by truth we are bound. Rhett repeated after her, his human accent clumsy but clear. By light we are seen, By truth we are bound. Their joined hands glowed brighter, red and blue merging into gold. Rhett felt warmth surge through him, memories blending with hers. He saw her childhood, her first learning of colors, her fear of the council. And she saw his, the frozen battlefields, the dead soldiers, the weight he carried. Tears filled Sarai's eyes. "You carry so much pain," Rhett whispered. "Because I remember every name." The light grew brighter until even the council had to shield their eyes. The energy ghost screamed again, unable to withstand the truth being shared. The red corruption faded from the walls, leaving only soft gold and blue, but the ritual wasn't done. The last part required sacrifice, one heart opening completely to the other. Sarai's voice broke. "Now, Captain, speak your truth." Rhett took a deep breath, voice trembling with raw honesty. "I came here with orders, to build peace. But deep inside I was afraid. Afraid your kind would see what humans hide. The anger, the shame, the need to fight. But now I see that light isn't about being perfect. It's about not giving up, about choosing peace even when it hurts." As he spoke, the chamber reacted. The light poured from him like a river, white, pure, alive. Sarai's glow intertwined with his, their colors forming a pattern never seen before. Silver fire surrounded by gold halos. The council rose slowly, their faces bathed in the light. Elder Varen whispered, "He is performing the true greeting." The last shadow of the Zithar tried to resist, its ghostly hand reaching out. Rhett turned, eyes glowing white, and faced it. "You wanted to share your truth. Here it is. We are not your past. We are your future." The shadow froze. Its form began to break apart, turning from red to soft blue before dissolving completely. The ancient echo was gone. The hall went silent. Only the gentle hum of light remained. Rhett fell to one knee, exhausted, his glow fading slowly back to normal human skin. Sarai knelt beside him, still glowing softly. "You did it," she whispered. "You finished what they never could," he smiled weakly. "I didn't do it alone." The council members approached. Elder Varen's glow had changed, now soft gold, a color that once symbolized forbidden emotion. "Captain Hayes," he said slowly, "you have reminded us that truth and pain can live together. That light is not purity, it is courage." He turned to Sarai. "And you, Sarai of the Third Light, have brought back what we lost." The hall shimmered with a new energy, a heartbeat shared by thousands of glowing beings across the city. Outside, the skies of Lyrexis 4 changed color, reflecting the first dawn of unity in 1,000 years. Rhett stood shakily, looking up at the living lights above. "So this is the true greeting?" Sarai smiled, tears glowing on her cheeks. "No, Captain, this is the beginning of the real one." And as the twin suns rose, their rays touched both human skin and alien glow. Two kinds of life standing together, no longer strangers in light. The suns of Lyrexis the Four rose higher, bathing the entire planet in waves of gold and blue. The once cold crystal towers now pulsed with life, each reflecting the new energy that filled the world. The chaos of the night before had ended, leaving silence, not the silence of fear but of awe. Captain Rhett Hayes stood on the grand balcony of the Hall of Lumens, looking out over the glowing city below. From the highest spires to the deepest rivers, every inch of Lyrexis shimmered in harmony. It was as if the planet itself had taken a deep breath after centuries of holding it in. Sarai stood beside him, her soft golden glow reflecting in his eyes. "The council has declared a new age," she said quietly. "They called it the dawn of shared light." Rhett smiled faintly. "Has a nice ring to it." Below them, Lyrexians gathered by the thousands. They stood shoulder to shoulder, their bodies radiating different colors, no longer afraid to show emotion. Reds of courage, blues of peace, golds of love, greens of honesty, all blending together like a living galaxy. In the center of the crowd, a small group of humans stood among them, soldiers, diplomats and engineers from Rhett's crew. Their armor reflected the same lights. For the first time, no weapons were drawn, no walls stood between them. A deep hum filled the air. The Council of Lumens had arrived. The ancient elders descended as beams of light, forming their solid shapes in front of the gathered crowd. Elder Varen stepped forward, his glow no longer the cold white of judgment, but the warm gold of understanding. Children of Lorexus, he began, his voice echoing gently across the city. For thousands of years we feared what lay beyond our light. We built walls of purity, believing that emotion was weakness. But one human showed us that light does not fade when shared. It grows stronger. The crowd murmured softly. Every eye turned toward Rhett. Elder Varen gestured to him. Captain Red Hayes of the world called Earth, you are now a symbol of unity between our races. You carried pain without hiding it, truth without fear. Today we honor you. Rhett stepped forward slowly, feeling thousands of glowing eyes watching him. He wasn't used to being honored. He was a soldier, not a hero. I didn't come here to be remembered, he said softly. I came here to make sure none of us forget what almost destroyed us. Misunderstanding. His voice carried across the air. We live in different skies, but we share the same heart. We fight, we fail, we hurt, but we also forgive. And maybe that's what light really means. The crowd was silent for a heartbeat. Then one by one, Lorexians lifted their hands, their lights glowing brighter. Humans followed, turning on small holographic wrist lights in response. Soon the entire city was glowing. Human light and alien light side by side, blending into one endless wave. Sarai stepped closer to him, her voice trembling. This is what I dreamed of, Captain. A world where no one hides their glow, Rhett smiled at her. Then it's your dream that saved us, not mine. But she shook her head gently. No, you gave it shape. Elder Varen raised his hand once more. As a sign of our unity, the Council offers you a title. From this day you shall be known as the Keeper of Light. You and your people are welcome among us always. Applause rippled through the crowd, glowing hands raised high. Rhett bowed slightly. Then as Keeper of Light I make this promise. Humans will guard this bond with all we have. The twin suns reached their peak, their rays crossing over the city. The crystal towers bent the light, forming a great symbol in the sky, two circles merging into one. The union of light had become real. That evening, long after the celebrations began, Rhett found himself walking along the edge of the glowing river. The reflections of color danced like memories across the water. Sarai walked beside him in silence, her glow dim and peaceful. I should return to Earth soon, Rhett said finally. Command will want a full report. Sarai stopped, her expression unreadable. And will they believe it? He chuckled softly. Probably not. They'll say I was blinded by alien lights and too much diplomacy. Sarai smiled, but her eyes were sad. Then they'll never know what you gave us. Rhett looked at her gently. They'll know one thing, and that we found friends among the stars. She hesitated, then asked quietly, If you leave, will your light fade? He looked at the faint golden mark still glowing faintly on his wrist, the same mark from their shared ritual. Maybe, but not completely. You're part of it now. She stepped closer, her hand brushing his. Their light patterns intertwined, glowing softly between them. Then wherever you go, Captain, you'll never walk in darkness, Rhett smiled. Neither will you. They stood there for a moment, two beings from different worlds joined by something stronger than blood or law. The river carried their reflection downstream, splitting into two shimmering paths that joined again farther ahead. Above them, the sky of Lorexus IV glittered, not just with stars, but with signals. The first human ships were now orbiting the planet, their lights blinking gently in greeting. The Lorexians responded with luminous beacons, pulsing in rhythm, a language of peace born from two hearts. Elder Varen's voice echoed faintly across the city, carried on waves of energy. Let all worlds hear us. Light does not belong to one race, one creed, or one color. It is the soul of all who choose to understand. Rhett looked up, watching the twin moons rise. You hear that? He said softly. That's history being rewritten, Sarai smiled. No, Captain. That's the sound of it beginning. And as the night deepened, the stars themselves seemed to bend closer, as if curious about this new alliance between flesh and light. For the first time in centuries, Lorexus IV did not glow alone.